when a Sylvanie dies, his body is laid to rest in the roots of the mother tree, and his memories become a part of future generations. Fairies die only if their rose plant does, so they can live a long time, but they are awake only in the evenings. During the day they find a flower to rest on, and their bodies change into morning dew. At night they turn back into fairies again. Ah, here we are, the Grove of Dreams. He'd led us into a secluded area. It looked like a fairy honeymoon suite. Tall trees supported a leafy bed that hung from vines. Baskets of fragrant flowers hung from each corner of the grove. Gossamer pillows and bedding were embroidered with swirling vines and leaves. A group of fairies who had followed us in took their places in the lanterns. The 4 large trees that support the bower stand one in each direction, north, south, east, and west. The best dreams are had when the head points west, so you wake with the sun in the east. Good luck to you, and sweet dreams. He smiled and was off, taking 2 fairies with him. I shifted uncomfortably. This is a little awkward. Kishan was staring at the bed like it was a mortal enemy. He turned to me and gallantly bowed.
Not to worry, Kelsey. I will be sleeping on the ground.
Right, but, what if you're the one who has the dream?
Do you think it matters if I'm in the bed or not?
I have no idea, but just in case, I think you better join me. He stiffened.
Fine. But we're sleeping back to back.
Deal. I climbed in first and sank into the soft feather bed and pillow. The bed shifted back and forth like a hammock. Kishan muttered as he stowed the backpack. I caught snippets of phrases. There was something about fairy princesses and how does she expect me to sleep and Wren better appreciate, etc., etc. I stifled a laugh and rolled onto my side. He pulled the gossamer cover over me, and then I felt the bed sway as he lay next to me. As a breeze softly stirred my hair, I heard Kishan sputter,
Keep your hair on your side, Kels, it tickles.
I laughed. Sorry. I pulled my hair over my shoulder. He muttered some more, something about more than a man can bear, and shifted quietly. I fell asleep quickly and had vivid dreams of Wren. In one dream, he didn't know me and turned away from me. In another, he was laughing and happy. We were together again, and he held me close and whispered that he loved me. I dreamed of a long rope lit with fire and a black pearl necklace. In another dream, I was underwater swimming alongside Wren, while we were surrounded by schools of colorful fish. Despite dreaming very clearly, there was no hint of the Omphalos stone. I woke disappointed and found I was sleeping nose to nose with Kishan. He had his arm draped over me, and his head was pillowed on my hair, pinning me to the bed. I shoved him. Kishan! Kishan, wake up! He woke only halfway and pulled me closer.
Shh. Go back to sleep. It's not morning yet.
Yes, it is morning. I pushed against his ribs. Time to wake up, come on.
Okay, honey. But how about a kiss first? A man needs some motivation to get out of bed.
That kind of motivation keeps a man in bed. I'm not kissing you now. Get up. He woke with a start. Confused, he groaned and rubbed his eyes.
Kelsey?
Yes, Kelsey. Who have you been dreaming about? Durga? He froze and blinked a couple of times.
That is none of your business. But for your information, I did have a dream about the Omphalos stone.
You did? Where is it?
I can't really describe it. I'll have to show you.
Okay. I hopped out of the bed and adjusted my dress. Kishan watched me and commented,
You're prettier now than you were last night.
I laughed. Yeah, right.
I wonder why you dreamed of the Amphilis stone and I didn't.
Perhaps you went to bed last night with different questions in your mind.
My mouth fell open. He was right. I hadn't thought about the stone at all before I slept. My thoughts were entirely focused on Ren. He watched me curiously.
And what did you dream about last night, Kels?
That's none of your business either. He narrowed his eyes and scowled.
Forget it. I think I can figure it out on my own.
Kishan took the lead in walking back to the Sylvani village. A short distance away, he stopped and ran back to the Grove of Dreams.
Be right back, I forgot something.
He hollered over his shoulder. When he returned, Kishan was grinning from ear to ear. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get him to tell me what had made him so happy. Chapter 19. Bad Things. We breakfasted with the Sylvani again, and were gifted with new clothing. Both of us were given lightweight shirts, khaki pants with a subtle sheen, and plush-lined boots. I asked if they were leather, and the peaceful creatures didn't know what I was talking about. When I explained, they seemed shocked and said that no animals were ever harmed in Sylvani. They said that the fairies wove all their cloth, and that there was no material on earth as fine or as soft and beautiful. I agreed with them. They also added that while journeying in Sylvani, if you hung fairy-made apparel on the limb of a tree at night, the fairies would clean and repair the clothes while you were sleeping. We thanked them for their gifts and enjoyed our repast. As we lounged at breakfast, Faunus appeared carrying a small infant and said, "Before you go, we would like to ask a favor. The family with the new baby wondered if you would name their child." I sputtered, "Are you sure? What if I name it something they don't like?" "They would be honored by any name you give him." Before I could mouth another word of protest, he laid the tiny infant in my arms. A small pair of green eyes looked up at me from the soft blanket. He was beautiful. I bounced him softly in my arms and cooed at him instinctively. I reached in a finger to lightly tap his nose and touch his downy, soft silver hair. The little baby, much more active than a newborn human baby would be, reached a hand out to grab a lock of my hair and tugged. Kishan gently removed my hair from the baby's grasp. Then he brushed the rest of my hair over my shoulder. He touched the baby's hand, which grabbed onto his finger. Kishan laughed.
"He's got a strong grip."
"He does." I looked up at Kishan. "I'd like to name him after your grandfather, Tarak, if you don't mind." Kishan's golden eyes sparkled.
"I think he'd like to have a namesake."
When I told Faunus that I wanted to name the baby Tarak, the Sylvani cheered. Tarak yawned sleepily, unimpressed with his new moniker, and started sucking his thumb. Kishan put his arm around my shoulders and whispered,
"You'll be a good mother, Kelsey."
"Right now I'm more of an auntie. Here, your turn." Kishan settled the small creature in the crook of his arm and spoke quietly to it in his native language. I went off to change my clothes and braid my hair. When I came back, he was rocking the sleeping baby in his arms and staring thoughtfully at its little face. "Ready to go?" He looked up at me with a tender expression.
"Sure. Just let me change, too."
He handed off the baby to his family. Before he left, he brushed a finger across my cheek and smiled at me. His touch was hesitant and sweet. When he came back, we said our goodbyes and picked up our pack, which now held my gossamer dress, several honey cakes, and a flagon of flower nectar, and started walking east. Kishan seemed to know where he was going, so he led the way. I often caught him watching me staring at me with a strange sort of smile on his face. After an hour or so of walking, I asked, "What's wrong with you today? You're acting differently."
Am I?
"Yes. Care to share?" He hesitated for a long moment, and then sighed.
One of my dreams was about you. You were propped up in bed, tired but happy and beautiful. You held a dark-haired newborn baby boy in your arms. You called him Anik. He was your son.
Oh. That explains why he was acting differently toward me. Was there anyone else there with me?
There was, but I couldn't see who.
I see.
He looked like us, Kelsey. I mean, he's either Ren's or he's mine.
What? Is he saying what I think he's saying? I conjured in my mind a sweet baby boy with Ren's vivid blue eyes. In a flash, the eyes changed color and became as golden as an Arizona desert. I bit my lip nervously. This isn't good. Is it possible that Ren won't survive? That somehow I'll end up with Keyshawn? I knew that Keyshawn had feelings for me, but I couldn't fathom any future in which I'd choose him over Ren. Maybe I wouldn't have the option. I have to know. And did you, see the baby's eyes? He paused and looked intently at my face before saying,
No. His eyes were closed. He was sleeping.
Oh. I started walking ahead again. He stopped me and touched my arm.
You once asked me if I wanted a home and a family.